Guys, this is Subhashish Mishra, your test coach. In our previous video, we have learned about TestNG parameters, and today we'll learn about TestNG data providers. I believe you guys understand how to use TestNG parameters for passing the values to your test class from the TestNG.XML file. But there is a problem with TestNG parameters. TestNG parameter is good and works very well when you pass the value and run the test. But this thing happens only once for the execution. If you have to execute same test multiple times with different values, then there will be a challenge to use TestNG parameter. To solve this issue, TestNG provides another feature, that is data provider. So now we'll see what is data provider and how to use it to solve this problem. So what is data provider? Data provider helps to pass different values to the TestNG test case in a single execution and in the form of TestNG annotations. So first let's understand it with an example. First I will create a new class and I will name it as test data provider. Okay. Then what we'll do, we'll write one method. Okay, public void data provider test. Okay, and here I'll pass one argument to this method, for example string name. Okay, and inside the method what I'll do, I'll not do much, I'll just do a sysout, and here I'll just print the name. Name is name. So here what basically we are doing, we have a method where we are just passing the method and we are printing it, and what you want to pass different name to it, and you want to see whether you are able to give multiple names or not. So to do that, what you need to do, for this method to execute, we'll write test. This is the annotation to execute, TestNG annotation, right? Now we'll write one data provider. You can write public, then object. This is the exact way you can write a data provider, then give the data provider name, for example dp method. Okay, this is the data provider method. Okay, then what you can do here, you can write return, okay, new object. Okay, return new object. Then here what we'll write, what we are trying to pass. So for example name, right? I'll pass my name, and we want to pass some more names also, for example Ranak Singh. Okay, fine. So this is the data provider we used. So to use this data provider, what you need to do, you need to add one annotation. So you need to write data provider, and here you can name the data provider. So for example I'm giving name equal to, it is a string, data provider, or data underscore provider. Okay, again you need to import this, import it. Then how this method will know which data provider to use, right? So to identify it, what we'll do, we'll write data provider equal to whatever the data provider name you have given, right? Exact name you need to pass it here. And now let's execute. We'll execute this method, right? Let's see. So what you are seeing here, you can see, right, both the values appear in the output. Here you can see name is Subhashish Mishra, name is Ranak Singh, and what you are seeing here, it executed twice. We have only one method, but it executed twice because we are using data provider, and we are passing two names here. For example, you want to pass one more name. So what you can do, similarly you can just pass one more name here, for example Ram. Ram Gopal. I'm just giving some random names. Okay, let's execute it. Okay, see, it executed thrice because in data provider we gave three different data. So your one test case executed thrice with three different setup of data. So this is the advantage of using data provider. What we did here, we ran the test case once, but it got executed multiple times with different values. So that's why we need to use data provider. Okay, here you saw we added both data provider and test method in the same class. Here is the data provider and here is the test class. But when you will write in your actual project, right, when you will actually code in your actual project, you can create a separate class for this data provider. Else what will happen, everything will be in the same class, right? It will be like too much of code. So to get a cleaner code, you can put all the data provider in a different class and you can use it here. Okay, fine. Now we'll see how to pass multiple parameters in TestNG data provider. For example, you are testing one scenario, one website login. For example, you are testing. So what you need to pass there? You need to pass username, password, something like that, right? So how you will able to do that? So let's see how can we do that. So first, what we'll do? I'll just copy this, and here I will give the method name as login test. Okay, and here you want to pass one username and again one string password. Okay, fine. So and we'll just print it for now. Username is username, or I can write it here only. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll give one more data provider. Okay, so here the data provider method name will change. We'll give, for example, login data provider dp. Okay, login data provider, and what data will pass here? Here you can see we are using username and password, so we have to pass. Let me remove these things for now. Okay, just for your understanding, we have to pass two strings because here we have taken username and password. So for username, what you can give, for example, Subhasis, and password, for example, abc123 at the rate, something like that. Any password you can give. And similarly, if I want to test both the things, here I'll give again Ranak, and for example here password is xyz. For this user you want to test, we'll test for only two users for now. Okay, okay, one more thing you see, right? Here we have given the data provider, so data provider name, same name we are giving. We'll change the data provider name, so data provider for login, for example, and same name you need to pass it here. Okay, now we'll comment this method. We'll execute only one, this login test. Let's see here, you can see login test executed twice with two different values, right? One username is Subhasis and password is this username is Ranak and password is this. So what you are seeing here, using test data provider, we can execute with multiple times on same test case, multiple times with different set of data. So few things you need to remember for this test data provider, few key points I'll tell. So one thing is TestNG data provider contains only one single attribute, which is its name, right? So data provider name you are seeing, right? It is always a string type in nature. So here you can see we have given this as a string type, right? Data providers are not declared on top of the functions like TestNG parameters, but have a method of their own. So here you can see, right, the method name is DP method, or here we have declared one more method like login DP. So these are the data provider methods. Okay. If you have not specified the name of the data provider, then the method name becomes the data provider name by default. TestNG data provider returns a two-dimensional list of object. Here you saw, right? It's a two-dimensional list of object. The method then performs a data-driven test for each value that you have specified. The data provider name calls the data provider method, and if there is no name specified by you, then the data provider method is the default name used in the receiving test case. So that's all about the TestNG data provider. Thank you. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. I'll try to explain it. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel.